Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Not my normal introduction here tonight. In all my years of being a Philadelphia sports fan, I don't know if I've seen the landscape the way that it is now. Certain things going on that we'll get into it. It just makes me shake my head. Embiid pushing reporters, Jason Kelsey breaking people's cell phones, Flyers absolutely being the worst team in hockey. The Sixers are 1-5. It's just not good. And maybe when we get back, Bobby will be able to straighten me out and tell me where things are good or not. Back in a moment.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
As I said at the top, it's a difficult time here, I think, because a lot of what's going on is just things that I haven't really run into, especially where it's a situation going on with all four teams. Bobby?
Well, hello. And our first ever, Wednesday show?
Yes, I think so.
Is this the first time? It might be.
Yeah.
So welcome, everybody, to another Wednesday night here in Philadelphia.
Yes.
As Chris said, yeah, it's the worst of times right now. I think we said, Sixers would start 2-9, I think we said.
Yeah, something like that.
We're pretty close. I had thought they would beat Memphis, but they didn't. I thought they'd beat Detroit, but they didn't. It's funny watching the comments of that game. Like, come on, it's Detroit. Detroit, like we said a million times, they saw that game as a win for themselves. I mean, it's just you go into a team and they're missing 50 points a game with Embiid and George. Roughly 50 points.
Yeah, and Paul George returns to play against the Clippers tonight. I mean, I have no excitement in watching this team.
Well, exactly. I can't even tune in right now. It's not worth watching. I did see his first shot as a Sixer. Paul George from the baseline it was an air ball, fittingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
For a how much is this contract? $250 million
at least.
Yeah. So what do you go? 5 for 15, scored 15 points. Not moved. And Embiid pushing Marcus Hayes. Still don't know the whole story. I don't know what he wrote. Maybe you could fill me in on what exactly he wrote.
Yeah, I can fill you in if you want.
Yeah.
My understanding is, and this is just my understanding. If I have this wrong, anybody out there, feel free to correct me. Marcus has been on Embiid for a little bit about not playing. So starting the season this way, and I think a lot of it is not so much directed at Embiid, at least even from my standpoint. It's not. It's directed at the Sixers because they just don't tell you anything. And I believe from what Marcus wrote, the comments were Embiid's own words that he was playing basketball in a way of putting out there a legacy for his brother who had died.
Okay.
Embiid's son is named after his brother. And instead of saying his brother, Marcus used the brother's name. And Embiid took offense to it, saying, keep my dead brother and my son out of what you write. And that led to the issue of Embiid. I guess Marcus just tried to defend himself. Embiid shoved him. And Embiid even made the comments, look, if you're going to keep this up, I'm going to do what I do. And I'll take whatever consequences there is. And he got a 3-game suspension, which I believe is very light.
Well, he would have missed these 3 games anyway, so it's like a 0-game suspension.
I mean, it's just more load management. I mean, I guess the situation.
The difference is he doesn't get paid. That's the only difference.
Correct. I'm not up so much on the law if Marcus would have had to press charges or if the police could have just done it for an assault. But
when he mentioned his brother and his son, did he say like he's leaving a bad legacy for them and not playing? Is that what he meant?
I believe yes, I don't think it was in so many words, but I think if you take everything in context, mm-hmm. That's what the point was. It's like, well, if your goal was to leave a legacy here in your brother's honor, what you're doing now is tarnishing it.
Well, I think Embiid should stop reading newspapers and reading Twitter and reading everything online and worry about getting on the court. He needs to worry about playing.
Yeah, and
not what people are saying.
Correct. And I sit here and like I said, this is where I shake my head and where I have the confusion. I understand to a point you can't separate out the fact that Embiid is a professional basketball player who is making multi-generational money versus him being a human being. Okay, he's still a human being, of course. Mm-hmm. There's things that rightly or wrongly when you're a public figure like that, you just have to expect it.
Right.
I mean, especially nowadays. I mean, some of the things I may have put on Twitter X about certain players and things. I mean, I think if JT Real Muto
Right.
ran into me, me being shoved might be the least of my
he would
or he could just choose to be like, hey,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Right. He would come into the stands and throw me and you on the field every time we went to the games.
Of course. And it's, I mean, to me, what we've seen to start this season, especially what fans who bringing in Paul George, changing over the Sixers, bringing in a lot of new players, the second year of Nick Nurse, who we'll probably get into, they were excited for a season to start, and they were just given garbage. I mean, that term has become, okay, I'll take garbage out. What they were given was not their money's worth,
to say the least. I mean,
yes,
it's wrong. I mean, it's flat out wrong. They should be given like future games for free or something. I mean, it's just, that's not what they paid for. They didn't pay to see these players.
No, and I'm not
George and Embiid.
I'm not even going on the standpoint of winning and losing. I mean, we've come to expect losing, but like I said, you have no expectation when you buy the ticket, because the ticket is for a game and you got to see a game. Mm-hmm. But you think when the season's going to begin, obviously Paul George got hurt in the preseason. He hyperextended that knee and had to miss a few games. But Embiid was perfectly fine to play in the Olympics. And Bobby, me and you could have started with 3 of those Olympic players and probably won the Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, the gold medal, he acts like it's this huge accomplishment. He had pretty much nothing to do with it. He didn't even play well at the Olympics. They had to bench him.
And here's the thing. It is an accomplishment. But United States basketball is a separate entity from the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right.
And I think if you talk to most Sixers fans, they would rather see Embiid compete for a championship for them versus for the United States.
I think all Sixers fans would say that.
Right. And my thing about it is, like you said, it wasn't like the schedule for the Olympics was 5 games a week for 2 months.
Right.
And like you said, he didn't play.
He didn't play much.
Well,
he missed the game. He played 15 minutes a game. He didn't play much.
Right.
It was like a light practice for him. It was nothing.
Yeah. Now, if you would come out of that and say, okay, well, during one of the games, and this probably still would be an issue too, because you have to think about this when players play in those type of games. If it came out and said he had a sprained ACL or something, okay, but I don't even know what the problem is now. What's the issue?
The injury management. That's what they say.
Okay.
That's why they got trouble, because they're not telling anybody.
Right. And
but in their defense, why should you have to sell the other team an injury, really? I mean, I like the way hockey does it, upper body, lower body. Mm-hmm. Why should the Sixers have to come out and say, look, it's his left knee? Then they play the Knicks next week, and the Knicks are going to go after his left knee. I mean, it's really nobody's business what the injury is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something that they've collectively bargained in a way due to betting or anything like that. But I don't.
Same with the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a running back and I have a bad left elbow, where do you think they're putting the helmet at? I mean, it's too much information.
And if you look at, they don't do it in boxing, like the guy has a problem.
Sore left shoulder.
Yeah, right. And I guess now what's become frustrating for me is the fact that, look, I don't expect the Philadelphia 76ers to be having a parade with Embiid leading a parade. I've come to that conclusion. But what's frustrating to me is, look at what Jokic has put up so far this season. And you can have the discussion when both are 100%, which player is better. And me and you believe it's Embiid. But the best ability is
head to head, it has been.
And the best ability is availability.
Right.
Jokic is always there.
And he probably does more overall for the team with his rebounding and assists and just his free flowing of the offense and the way he operates. And he's like that cog in the middle, while Embiid is just like a bottomless hole. When he gets the ball, you know what he's going to do. It's going to be him 10 seconds of the shot clock and everybody else standing there watching. But head to head, Embiid does dominate him. He is a better one-on-one player than Jokic, but he has a title and Embiid doesn't. I mean, that's the fact. So if you look at their careers to this point, he's a more accomplished player.
When you look, if we sit here and we roll around into the middle of May and Embiid's healthy and the Sixers are looking like they're a team that's going to compete for a championship, they're past the second round.
It's not happening.
I agree with you. But if let's just hypothetically say it would, this would probably make sense. The pushing of Marcus Hayes makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. This would make sense if that's the goal. But the other thing too is I don't like saying this, but to me, it feels like what they're doing to Nick Nurse as a coach is just totally unfair, because this isn't the team he's supposed to be coaching.
All right. And you can't really judge him by this either. You can't say he's good or I know no matter what, he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach no matter who the players are. He's an excellent coach. It's not a reflection of him, the win-loss record. Like you said a minute ago, it is garbage. They surrounded these two guys with, well, Tyrese Maxey's there, of course, but the rest of the team is garbage. Eric Gordon's washed up. Kyle Lowry doesn't belong on an NBA floor anymore. These guys.
Caleb Martin's a fifth option.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to get younger. Instead, they got older. When you have veterans like this, you need to put that young, hungry player out there. That Derek Lively, that type of guy.
I can't pronounce the guy's name who they brought over from France.
Yabusele.
Yeah, and he had his best. He had a good game the other night. The only problem is he's not a defender, and when they needed to get stops, he was out there, and there's a lot of other guys out there who probably shouldn't have been on the floor. Right. And they got themselves into a position where they got up 9 late, and it just evaporated against the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, who would you put out there? I know I said to you they should have had the defensive lineup out there. I mean, they really don't have one.
Right. Where are you going to go with Kyle Lowry, like you said? Eric Gordon,
Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre doesn't defend. Maxey's not a good defender. Paul George is not. He's rusty.
Their rookie from Duke. I mean, he's not experienced enough to go out.
Well, that's why I want to talk about him too. I mean, he has not had consistent minutes. I know it's going to be hard as a rookie to get a consistent, rotation. But I think you have to. I think you can't play him 25 minutes one game and then 3 the next. That's not a way that he's going to get into the NBA flow.
No.
From what I've seen of him, I think he's fearless, which I like. He's not afraid to take shots. He's not afraid to drive to the basket. I mean, that's good. I mean, I think as his body, matures and he gets a little bigger, he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, and
not great. Good. I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
No, and we're always going to compare him to the guy taken right after him, who looks like he's going to be a great NBA player possibly. I look up now, and the game that's on is Golden State at Boston, and 2-point game. I guess I think Jaylen Brown is out tonight.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So, and I didn't really take a look to see if anybody was out for the Clippers tonight. It'll be interesting to see the Sixers play against James Harden again.
Yeah, you're used to seeing the Clippers lineup with Leonard out and George out.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we said when they were even talking about bringing in Paul George, and this even went back to last season. It was like, well, if he comes here, his name's going to have out beside it along with Embiid, and
so far it's 9 out of 10.
Yeah, course.
It's 90%. They've had the out next to their name.
Yeah.
And I doubt that George is going to play back-to-backs anytime soon, and Embiid's not going to play back-to-backs.
Right. And like I said, it's frustrating, and it's not like one of those things to where you're looking forward to watching it.
No.
What did you make of the Kelsey situation with taking that guy's phone and breaking it?
I saw it from a lot of different angles, and I think there's there are a few seconds of it missing. I mean, he takes the phone and smashes it, then he goes back to the ground. Did you see that? It's like a third angle where he goes down.
I think he picked it up then.
Right away, as soon as he spiked it.
That I don't know.
That's what I mean. It was like further down. Maybe he threw it. Like he went for it and then he grabbed it again. So I don't know if Kelsey actually still has the phone. I don't know. I mean, is the guy going to press charges against him? Is he going to go after him for a new phone? I don't know. Kelsey overreacted. You're a pro athlete and people yell things at you. You have to know. You have to be ready for that.
Yeah, if you're someone who's going out in public, I mean, of course, if you're a professional athlete, a public figure, or things like that. But even, I mean, if you're out in public, I mean, we still have the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the First Amendment hasn't been changed, has it?
No, freedom of speech. No.
Right. Now, I know a lot of people want to defend Kelsey, and I get it. I mean, he was sticking up for his brother. And I'm not saying what the guy said should have been said. Right. I'm saying he has the right to say it, and you
laugh at it.
Or you turn around and say, hey, you wish you were my brother and wish you were with her. End of story.
Yeah. Well, what's he doing by himself all the time anyway? Or does he drives to these games by himself, and was he going in with a case of beer?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe he was he'd be back with the Eagles by this point, with some of the problems that they've had. But I guess he's falling into that role, and
I think at this point he's too small now.
It's true. That's true, and it just wasn't a good look, and it just left a bad taste. And of course, the way Penn State played that game, you knew that was coming. I mean,
oh yeah,
they
come on. When they're at the 1 yard line, they run the same play twice in a row. The quarterback doesn't see to keep that ball. He could have walked into the end zone
backwards.
I don't get it. You don't read that? There's nobody there. You fake the inside handoff. Everybody caves inside. You cruise around the outside. That's where that the other quarterback should have been in, Perbula. It should have not have been Drew Aller.
You're probably right. And then I'm not saying even if they score there, they end up winning the game, but you have to score there, because when you don't, it's essentially over.
All right. It's just like Ohio State has their number. They just can't move the ball on them. They can't score on that team. And
if you look at Franklin's record against teams like Ohio State and Michigan, it's really, really bad.
It's got to be like 1-20 or something like that. I mean, it's
the staff might find it.
That's hard. That's a tough find.
No, James Franklin records against Ohio State and Michigan. I think it might be like 3-17 or something like that. It's not really good.
He's been there for like 10 years, right? That's probably about right.
And he's going to be there for 10 more, seemingly. Well, I guess the only positive we can talk about, which is surrounded with a lot of negatives, was the Eagles did end up beating the Jaguars. They almost blew a 22-0 lead at halftime. That probably should have been 27-0 or more.
Well, you're up 22-0 right there. I mean, that's at 16, because they went for the 2 when it was 16-0.
Correct.
So right there, I knew it was going to be a problem, because you go up, you make it 17-0. That's 3 scores. Why the hell do you need to go for 2 up by 16? It makes 0 sense. None at all. Absolutely none.
No, it doesn't make sense to me either. And I guess the thinking is if we get up 18, then it's gonna be 2 scores, 2 2-point conversions, and a field goal, and we're still ahead. Well, no. Then it would be.
I think it's this. I think it's if Jacksonville scores 3 touchdowns, then we can tie them with a field goal. I think. I don't know. I don't care what the logic
No,
is.
that's the logic. You're right. That's the logic.
You go up by 2-3 scores. At that point, you don't think Jacksonville's going to score 3 times, and they're going to at least score once.
You would think.
I mean, and he comes out after the game and says, I have the balls to do it. What does that mean? That makes you good? I don't understand his thinking. What is this guy? The only thing that he keeps his job for, and sounds stupid, but it's the truth, because he wins.
And the point is, you might have the balls to do it. Okay. Well, let's take a hypothetical. I might have the balls to fight Mike Tyson, but I'm not going to win. So
it doesn't make it a good decision.
No, it makes me stupid.
Yeah. Well, in 9 days, I think we're going to see Mike Tyson. Amazing,
isn't it?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be something. It's almost like it's almost like Sirianni listens to media, listens to questions, listens to shows.
Does the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. And and then of course, like you just said, when you look back on this season, because last season's now just a distant memory. It's like I'm 6-2. What do you want?
Yeah.
Right. But you were 10-1 last year.
Right.
And you got embarrassed in Tampa.
And they could easily be 7-1 this year and got embarrassed in Tampa.
Right. Where that was the loss. Oh, easily. I mean, Saquon Barkley has been a godsend to this team.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is just me and given my personality, how I look at it. When you say Saquon Barkley, the first thing I think of is that drop. I don't think of him jumping backwards over somebody for an extra yard. Where if he gets hit there, and he didn't.
The most impressive thing I think of with him right now is, I know I'm probably going to jinx it, but he's played 8 games and hasn't been hurt.
Yeah, and the one thing, because I was thinking about this weekend when they were showing the carries he had in the yards. I mean, it's extremely, extremely impressive. But we talked about this. The Eagles are going to grind him into the ground.
And they have nobody to back him up. They need a backup running back.
And when they don't have A.J. Brown out there, they got to go
totally different. Yep. Totally different team without him out there.
And hopefully he's healthy.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard any updates. But speaking of healthy, I know we talked about, the Sixers not giving us injury information. The Eagles are being quiet about today. He didn't practice early in the practice. Kenny Pickett was taking the reps.
Hurts didn't practice.
Didn't practice, right?
Right. I don't think.
So what's up? What happened?
And this used to be like an upcoming holiday for us in Philadelphia, going down and playing in Dallas. And the game's in Dallas, correct?
90% sure. But my question is Dak Prescott out?
Yeah, I believe he's out.
They got a break.
It's not going to be the same type of game with guys being injured, especially if AJ Brown is out. CeeDee Lamb there's a possibility that CeeDee Lamb might be out.
Wow. So is there a small possibility it's going to be Cooper Rush versus Kenny Pickett?
Wow. Well, that 4 o'clock afternoon national matchup is going to.
It's in Dallas. The Eagles are a 7-point favorite.
Wow,
I know. Minus 370 on the money line.
Well, I guess that's a good thing, but with the injuries and all to Dallas, and it's a situation where Dallas is not the team to worry about in the division. Surprisingly, it's Washington. Yeah,
I mean, they just keep rolling. I mean, it's are they this great team? No, I don't think so. They're hot right now. Looking up the CeeDee Lamb injury. It says it's a shoulder and he was limited, and Micah Parsons also limited, so he might play.
Yeah, I think they both probably will.
Yeah. Washington, they've been the actual surprise, a shock. And can they keep it up? I guess so. I mean, the quarterback looks really good. They got Terry McLaurin playing probably the best football of his career right now.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised every time I watch them, you hear Zach Ertz's name. That he's still playing.
And they also have, they have what the Eagles don't have is two good running backs. They have Brian Robinson Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they could bring in Austin Eckler. That's a nice little two options there. Both guys can catch the ball, and I like what they have. The Eagles definitely need to go out and find a team that's out of it and pick up a running back. Somebody who can do be versatile, catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the trading deadline is come and gone though, and the Eagles didn't make any moves.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe somebody will get released, or they got to get somebody. They got to do something.
Yeah, because Gainwell's just not. Well, he's not being given the opportunity really.
But he's even with the opportunity. I think as a starting player, I think he's only like a 3 to 4 yard a carry guy.
Correct.
He'll get you like 15 carries for 50 yards. He's not going to light the world on fire. He doesn't have game breaking speed. I think if anything, Will Shipley would have probably a better chance to be a breakout guy than he would.
No, you make a good point there. And it looked like it was going to be an ugly loss, and the ball was overthrown, and Nakobe Dean was able to get that interception. I mean, and we can't look past Devontae Smith and that catch he made, able to get his 2 feet down. That was that was impressive.
How about Devontae Smith's usage? I mean, I just think he's underused. He just doesn't get the targets that a guy of his ability should get.
And the thing is, I don't know if it's part of the strategy. And if you would ask Sirianni, he's not going to answer it, because it's like, well, yeah, he's not getting the targets, and then all of a sudden there's a play for him, like we've seen the last 2 weeks, and he ends up in the end zone. But you would think I'm not saying he's a CD Lamb type receiver, but you would think, especially with Goddard being out, with AJ Brown having injuries and stuff, you would think there would be more targets there. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the type of guy that can catch 10 passes a game. I know he is, as a matter of fact. I watched him play in Alabama, where he was pretty much the every down he was a threat. I mean, there was really never a time where they didn't go to him. And he's being, I don't know if it's because of his frame. They don't want to get him beat up, keep him somewhat healthy, but I don't know if AJ Brown's out, he has to be your go-to guy. You have nobody else.
No, you're exactly right, and you would think, because of his speed and things, that he should be open. And we've seen him make amazing catches even when he's not open. So, And the other thing that stuck out to me in the game was the field goal that was missed. I mean, I just expected that to go right down the middle. It was just in that avalanche of everything.
Right. Exactly.
A quarter and let's see, a quarter and a half almost was going wrong.
It was all part of the momentum shift. I mean, it seemed they couldn't do any right and they couldn't do any wrong.
No, and you expect Elliott to come in. Even it was interesting too, because the announcers were saying at that point, oh, well, this is going to be 57, 58 yards. Is this smart to do? Because you don't want to give Jacksonville the ball there, but
right,
kick it deep and make them go 90 yards. Even though you can do that pretty easily sometimes against the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like we're going to go straight through here to the end, huh?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Staff? Well, when staff checks in again,
I got a message from staff saying just take it to the end.
Okay, that sounds good. We can do that. And I mentioned this situation with the Flyers, so the world famous Flyers Minute. Boo! Oh, the worst team. They're the worst team in the league. That's it. And let me just say anything else.
Mitchkov has 10 points in 13 games.
Correct. He has more points than the Flyers have.
Yeah.
They're
he's a -8.
Right. And here's a general question for you about sports in general. When a team announces a rebuild, how long? The first part of the question is, how long would you expect a rebuild to be? Obviously, certain sports you can rebuild faster, and we've seen that. But how long is too long? Because that situation here, we're talking about the Flyers, and if you're in a multi-year rebuild, is it still a rebuild when you start going backwards?
Well, the thing is, I think in order to have a successful rebuild, you have to break it all the way down. You have to be the worst team of them all. You can't keep being in this, 6th, 7th, or 8th, pick in the draft and having like the 5th best record. You're going to remain there. Look at all the teams that have done that. I mean, there's teams that are just bad year after year after year. Mm-hmm. And I think NBA, when I say that, I think of like a team like the Detroit Pistons. Even though they've had some top picks, they haven't had the right picks. Maybe the Atlanta Hawks, the Sacramento Kings. These are teams that are just bad year after year after year. And they're stuck in that how can you explain it? They're stuck in that.
They're in quicksand, and
yeah, they're just in a rut, and it's just this year. And they either have to crash and burn or make some moves and be good, but they're stuck in purgatory. That's the word I was trying to.
There you go.
But that's where I see the Flyers at, and they're not bad enough to get these great picks, and they're not good enough to make the playoffs and go to the next level. So.
Well, last year was the anomaly for what you would have expected, because they were there and then they collapsed the last 10 games of the season to not make it into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're looking at a team that, my goodness, I mean, wow, I wish they had Carter Hart back, because Urson is good, but I guess Hart wouldn't even matter, because I don't wish they had Carter Hart back given what he's done. I mean, I wish they had someone with talent like that to be able to play. But the defense isn't there. I mean, they just don't have the guys with the skating and the passing ability to play consistent defense against NHL competition. Not good NHL competition. Right. NHL competition. They just don't have it.
Right. Where is Carter Hart at, by the way?
I don't know.
Is he playing somewhere?
I don't know. I don't know if he could be in jail for all I know. I don't know.
I know. You've heard nothing about it.
I don't think he's in jail, but I think he's in a situation where
awaiting trial.
Yeah, awaiting trial, and I hopefully it's a situation where it turns out good for him. But if what they claim, I mean, if he had anything to do with that, I mean, he shouldn't see the light of day for a long time.
I know.
And that's something that's crept up in hockey a few times. I mean, the Blackhawks were able to sweep that under the rug for a while with some of the stuff that they were doing, but that could happen to any team anywhere. Yeah,
absolutely. And the Blackhawks, a perfect example of a team that they did it the right way. They became bad, and then they got Connor Bedard, and they did the same thing back in the I'd say early 2000s, the late 2000th decade, when they got Patrick Kane and the other guy, drawing a blank here, but they got the 2 star players and they won the Stanley Cup.
Well, and that's the thing too, where you look at them as an example, and you're right, they actually win the championship.
Right, against the Flyers.
Yeah, of course. and we sit here talking about Philadelphia and being Philadelphia sports fans, and what becomes the issue there is whenever you talk about those things, the process. Well, I mean, you throw out the process, it's not supposed to take 14, 15, 16 years. And the process, I've said this before, the process got the Sixers back to the point to where that's why they started the process. So exactly. I mean, they went full circle, and oh my, that's just why everybody gets frustrated.
I have a feeling the Sixers will win it the year after Embiid leaves.
That's a possibility.
They'll get somebody to go with Maxey.
Yeah, after a couple years, and they'll bring back Paul Reed. He'll be
the glue.
Yeah, he'll be the glue. I mean, Andre Drummond is, and see, that's the thing too. He's going to get himself worn down. I mean, he was only brought here to spell Embiid throughout the games.
Right.
And now he's in there, and what they have him for. I mean, he's an outstanding player to get rebounds. And
I'll be back in 5 seconds. Watch the speed. This will be like Embiid speed. There we go.
all right, I counted. It was 8.
8 seconds.
Yeah.
I needed water bad.
Oh, you need some water. Well, that Planet Jerky will make you thirsty. It definitely will do that.
Yeah, the salt content.
And I don't have much to say about anything going on with the Phillies. I mean, it's just a situation to where, look, are they going to be in on Soto? I guess. Are they going to get him? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't said anything. They haven't said he's going to be our number one priority or we're going to do everything in our power. We'll know once Middleton starts getting on his jet, going places.
I hope that was just a parody thing or a joke that I read that not the Sixers, but the Phillies have an interest in Justin Verlander. I sure hope not.
No way.
Yeah.
He'll pitch about 3 games and feel something in his arm.
To have him as a 5th starter going into the season and then bring Andrew Painter in,
For what? For how much? They're going to want his $30 million?
Yeah.
For 5 starts? Come on.
Yeah, and he's not even close to the pitcher that he used.
You know what though? He did say he'd like to play here.
He did?
Yeah, he likes our. Remember in the World Series when the fans were throwing stuff at the bus, not throwing stuff, but yelling stuff at the bus.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I mean, how old is he? 54 or something?
He's got to be 43 or 44.
Yeah, I mean he's getting up there. What'd you think? What'd you think of the race this weekend as we get down to the NASCAR Final Four? And how surprising are you that they are the Final Four?
I didn't see it. I can't watch Eagles and race at the same time. I mean, we need those old split screens.
There wasn't much of. It just seemed like most of it they were driving through tar and mud. It just seemed because it was really slowed down. Christopher Bell got himself eliminated. I mean, he finished in a position to be in the Final Four, but I guess the move he made on the final lap, using the wall to gain momentum and go forward, NASCAR said no, and William Byron has gotten in.
Wow. So
yeah, Byron, Logano, Reddick, Blaney.
Wow. You can pretty much pull one out of a hat there. I mean, it's anybody's. I don't know. The guy I have a feeling is Logano because we said it. Second, I'd probably go Byron because he just has that kind of luck.
Exactly. He'll win under caution.
All 3 of the other guys will go out for engine trouble and he'll win. He'll come in like 17th.
Yeah, it could be that would not shock me at all. I'm surprised. Like I said, there's no. I'm just surprised Larson isn't there. I mean, you usually just pencil him in and think he's going to be there, but that was a surprise. I mean, they'll be in Phoenix. This will be the final race until 2 weeks from now when the new season starts.
Daytona 500.
Yeah, yes. Seemingly, as soon as you finish Christmas or whatever, it seems like it's going to start.
Yep, you'll start seeing ads.
I put together here a true false, and I put together a fun top 10. How is things going with the Cards? Any news?
Yeah. I mean, it's like right now is it seems like it's a slow time. I mean, a lot of the guys that you thought were going to be, the big movers are all, like I said before, they're all injured. Everybody beefed up on Jordan Love Cards, and he's just been mediocre. He's been quiet. CJ Stroud has not been the superstar everybody thought he was going to be because he has no receivers. They're all hurt. Anthony Richardson's been a bust. So everybody, Will Levis, all these guys that were the big guys over the summer have not panned out. So it's like you go on streams and it's like nobody knows who to ask for as far as football.
Makes
it's crazy. Yeah, it's been real quiet. Like people are just asking for teams that they like and buying players from teams they like. I mean, even what's his name? Micah Parsons, he's a guy that his cards were moving good, and then he goes down. As far as basketball, the guy from Golden State, and it's not Steph Curry, is one of the guys that's selling the best. It's been Brandon Pozinski. For some reason, for some reason, people like him. He's been good. They like Jaime Jaquez down in Miami. I get a lot of requests for him. You don't see many. Steph Curry, of course, they like Tatum. You get a lot of Tatum.
Was there any interest over the last year or so? Zion Williamson, his cards? No, not really.
They were. I mean, before when he was a rookie, his cards were in the hundreds. Now you can pick him up for nothing. It's like
it's amazing how that works.
Yeah, he gets no love. I mean, he's not hurt now, but it seems like all those injuries just killed his value. John Morant's starting to come back, and so is LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and is it a situation, because I'm not up on cards as much as I should be. When I was in college decades ago, I worked at a local comic book store. I mean, the guy in town somehow his family had an extra house, and he turned the house into a comic book shop. But they sold cards. They sold sports cards as well. Is it a situation when I mentioned Zion Williamson, the fact that he's in New Orleans, or
that hurts too?
Yeah, because Anthony Davis was there and Anthony Davis was putting up amazing numbers, and it was like, what, he's in New Orleans.
All right, yeah, it's that way. Yeah, like you get some Gilgeous Alexander, even though he plays for Oklahoma City. Yeah, you're right though. It's there's players that you like never even hear of. I mean, it's cool if you could just sit there and just watch somebody like one of the big sellers one night. It's fun. I mean, you have a chance to win cards for free, get some nice stuff for free. I mean, it's just cool watching, seeing all the different cards. That's what I did for months, and I learned and just watched, see all the different ones, and you kind of learn what they're worth and what they go for. Mm-hmm. People are tough. I mean, they'll get you for every little dollar, every little thing. It's like,
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be very picky with what I buy and get nice condition stuff. And people are rough, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, and because I got out of it to a point. I mean, it was always fun getting the packs, and that hope springs eternal when you're opening the pack to see if I did that early on last year when I got into it, but it just gets too expensive, and you're not getting the value for your money. You're getting you think you're going to get Ken Griffey Jr. Instead you get Weston Wilson. That's how it goes. There's one guy on there named Joe Hollywood though, and it's cool to watch his shows. He's real high energy and scream to yell to talk to the real rough voice, but he had a sale for $50,000 last Saturday. He kept throwing more cards, and they were just kept bidding and bidding and bidding, and sold for $50,500. That was cool to watch. Well, hopefully you run into that sometime here in the near future.
Yeah, that would be everything I had times 10.
True. Well, let's see. I put this together for, obviously it was for last night, but
okay.
This was the true fall. I guess there was something going on last night that wasn't there?
Yeah, I was up till I'd say 3:30 this morning.
Yeah, easily. Because the first question I had was, and that Joel Embiid should be suspended 20 games. True or false? Obviously, we know it's 3. So,
hey, I would have said false anyway. It's probably a little extreme. Maybe, I would say maybe 10.
Yeah, I was expecting that as well. The second question was Jason Kelce should have been arrested. True or false? So
I didn't actually assault the guy, so I guess false.
Now here's
damaging somebody's property though. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm surprised. The Kansas City Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. True or false?
How can I say false?
They just win. I mean,
right.
They just, of course the coin toss went their way Monday night.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's 22 players on the field, and he makes the one player makes that much of a difference.
Hurt even when I don't know if you saw the play or not, where he had to be helped off the field for a little bit, and then a few minutes later he seemed to be okay with his ankle. But that it looked like, oh boy, that could have been an injury there, the way his ankle moved. But no, I don't know. He could come out there on crutches and probably play well.
Yeah, probably. He would just hold the crutch up with the one arm, throw off balance.
True. Here's one I thought of the other night, and I'd be interested to get your take on this. True or false? Tyrese Maxey will have a better career than Allen Iverson.
I actually thought about that.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it. Hit me the other night again.
It's tough. You mean statistic wise?
When all is said and done, because we would have gone through both. I mean, hopefully Maxey's here for a long time, and you ask the question, who is a better player? Yeah, who's going to jump out first? Is it going? And
Iverson's so iconic.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be so hard to expect that from him. I'd say Iverson. At
this point, I have that being false. Yeah, at this point, and you know what? I hope it becomes true, because that. I mean,
it's possible. He started so young, and he seems like he's going to be durable. He could score more points in his career than Allen. Because Allen's career was cut short. I mean, his prime was not that long.
Well, and the difference, though, is when you look at it now, though, the teams Iverson was option one. Mm-hmm. Maxey's option one now, but of course with Embiid, he's not option one.
Right, and that's going to cut his stats down. And I think as he gets older, it's going to be tough for him to, do the same things he does now, because he uses his speed so much to get to the basket and get open and separate. He's going to have to change his game probably 5 years from now, and it'll be tough making that adjustment. Well, Iverson never really had a change. I mean, he always had that courage and that fearlessness, and he's just special.
Yeah, and the only thing the Sixers really did to help him was they brought in the best coach available. They just didn't bring in the best players available, unfortunately.
Well, they brought in all that style of player, that hard-nosed toughness, tough Detroit Piston. Yeah. Eric Snows, the Aaron McKees, all the same type of player. All the guy that's going to go out there and he's going to go 5 for 9 and score 10 points.
Matt Geiger.
Yeah. Todd McCullough.
Yeah, that's true. My last true or false question: the 76ers will be an 8 to 10 seed this season.
That's what I think. Yeah, true.
I think so too. Mm-hmm. And they will come out and have all their excuses as to why it'll be injuries, and we'll see what they do at the trade deadline. I haven't paid close enough attention. I could look it up here for the Golden State game, but all of a sudden, Buddy Hield is now a guy.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that to you. He's like the best player in the NBA all of a sudden. Every time I look, 27, 28, 21.
Daryl Morey told us he would be here. He puts the fear of God.
Yeah, makes about 7 3-pointers a night.
Amazing. It's just amazing. And the other thing, though, kind of along that vein, where it seems like players go certain places and they play well. I mean, I was surprised to see the move, but I think it helps Atlanta that they traded Soler for what's his name? Is it Channing, the pitcher from the Angels? So
okay, Canning.
Yes, they're they got better.
Yeah, he'll come here and he'll win 5 games a year against the Phillies.
Oh, easily.
That soft tossing. They actually did face him when they played the Angels.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Now, I have interesting top 10. It piggybacks off last week, and we will do the at some point the sports records that probably will not be broken. But this real simple. Greatest athletes, sports figures with the first name Michael.
Or it's going to be the same thing as Joe. I'm going to go crazy in the beginning and then just fall to a dead halt.
I'm hoping you name some people who I didn't even really think of.
Okay, well, the first 2 are easy. Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And Do you have to be Mike or Michael? Can I do Mike?
No. Mike is Michael.
Well,
So
I'm just
Mike.
Well, Mike Tyson will be number 2.
Well, you got the first 2 exactly right that
Right.
I have here.
Right away, Mike Schmidt.
Number 3. We're going in order.
All right. Let's see. Why do I have to say him because he's the only thing in my mind? Michael Spinks for some reason.
No, I thought about him too. And Michael Spinks is the guy Tyson knocked out in about 90 seconds. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he made about $30 million for that fight.
Oh, I know. he did.
Yeah. Mike. Hockey. I think for some reason Mike Balsey.
I don't have him on the list.
I think he had really good statistics. If you look, I think he had like 600 goals or something like that.
Oh, I believe you're right. And to be honest with you, I don't have a hockey player on the list.
Okay, that makes that easy.
Yeah.
So basketball and baseball and football. Not many footballers.
Let's see. Football. I have 1, 2,
Mike Vick.
3. Michael Vick. Yes. Michael Vick is number 6. I have on my list.
Okay. Mike Evans.
No. And we'll probably have an argument about number 9, but we'll see.
They're starting to say Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame wide receiver because it was what he does year after year after year. He puts up 1,000 yards.
Very, very consistent. You know what? I could see that.
Yeah. You won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got? Defense, offense?
Let's see. Defense.
Defensive Mike Singletary.
No. Could be on the list though. And maybe you'll tell me he should replace someone who's here.
Okay.
One player, but he was more famous for being a coach.
Football?
Yes.
Mike Singletary. He was a coach.
It's okay, touche. You got me.
I got it. Mike Ditka.
Yeah, Mike Ditka. Number 9. The guy who I have is 10. He's probably more famous now for what he's done after football than what he's done in football. But he was a great football player too. Played for the New York Giants.
Michael Strahan.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I have. Well, if I give this away, you're going to get it. But number 4 is an Olympian.
Michael Phelps.
Yeah. And then I have 1 baseball, 2 baseball, and 1 basketball. So there's 2 baseball and 1 basketball.
Basketball is not Jordan. Let's see.
I know that's very difficult to do.
I know. Mike Scott. No, I'm just kidding. Mike Scott from the Sixers.
It's not Mike Olowokandi either.
Oh yeah.
But this guy, I'll give you a clue. This guy has 5 championships.
Yeah. Wow. Michael Cooper?
Yes, Michael Cooper.
The Lakers. Okay.
Yeah. I have a baseball player. I have 2 baseball players left.
Mike Boddicker. Remember that name?
I do.
Baltimore Orioles. Mike Scott again.
Could be.
From the Astros. Offense, a pitcher or a hitter?
Both are hitters, a center fielder and a catcher.
Mike Piazza.
Yes. He's number 7 on my list.
And a center fielder. Wow. Mike Trout.
Yeah, Mike Trout.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went against my protocol there because I didn't know who else to put. So I usually go with players who aren't playing anymore.
Man,
he's technically not playing because he always seems to have. Oh, he's just running into so much bad luck. I mean, we've gone through a lot with the Phillies, and at times we've made that joke that the Chargers are the Eagles of the West Coast. I mean, you look at the Angels, and I mean they had Pujols there when he was still in his prime. I mean, they had
Right.
Trout, and when they signed, I'm blanking on his name, the third baseman who's always hurt from Washington.
Yeah. What's his name? Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like on paper they're going to have a good team, and they just don't. I mean, when you're putting out there, the guys who you traded with the Phillies from Logan O'Hoppe, and
Mickey Moniak.
yeah, when they're your starters, you're kind of running into trouble. The staff had run into the staff is in North Carolina for some racing this
Oh, nice.
and she has run into some Wi-Fi trouble, and I think it was kind of mentioned last night by President-elect Trump about the North Carolinians, and they're still having some problems down there with some communication. So
they did enough communicating to get them a victory. I wish that the Philadelphia Eagles could get in victory as smooth as last night went. I mean, there was just never a rough patch. It just went straight through.
Because you want to know, I had the one question on here for true or false, and last night, if we would have been on last night, the last true or false question is: true or false? We will know the results of the election by our next show. So, well, obviously that would have been the question about 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah, I mean the votes were coming in so quick that you just had an idea it was going to happen last night. I mean,
yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, they did a good job. I went through the top the top NBA leading scorers to try to find a Michael we missed. You won't find one until you get to number 97 on the list.
Oh, I know.
A former Dallas Maverick that also played for the Phoenix Suns.
Johnson?
No,
it wouldn't be basketball. Michael.
He went to Wisconsin.
Oh boy.
Played with Dirk and Steve Nash.
And I'll know his name as soon as you say it.
Michael Finley.
Okay. Wow. What number? 90?
Number 97 all time on the scoring list.
That's amazing.
Then you won't see another one until number 126 with that Mike Conley.
Whew. I mean, yeah, that's what I said. That's why Phelps was on the list. I had to put Trout. I'm like,
it's amazing. That's one of the most popular names, and you just don't say it.
No, and yeah, and with basketball, hockey going on, and some sports, I haven't really watched that much. I mean, some of the TV that's come back. 911 Lone Star is a favorite show of mine. 911 is still on. I mean, it's changed channels. Still a good show. Did you ever watch any of Yellowstone?
I've been told to, and I haven't.
I've tried twice to get into that show, and I can't get past the second episode.
I can't. Yeah, I couldn't get past the first. I mean,
okay, I don't blame you.
It's just too boring. But I hear it gets good. I guess we're doing something wrong. I mean, how good can it get, though? It just seems like every scene is a bunch of open space with what's his name, Costner, talking about this is my land. I mean, that's
right. They're fighting over who's trying to take the land out there. Yeah, just strange. I don't know.
Maybe we got to give it a chance. Like, get 4 or 5 episodes in. I don't know.
Possibly, because they started promoting the return of the show. I guess it's coming up next.
It's still on.
I guess the new season starts next week.
What's it on, like season 20?
It might be, for all I know.
This is my land. No, this is my land.
And don't touch my horse.
Yeah.
But I started seeing ads for it like back in May.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I'm like, wow.
Same with Stranger Things. The kids are now 42 years old. They're still in high school. It's amazing too. When I was looking today, I mean, I happened to hit this may have been around 11:30. I just hit the guide button and was going through, and the show Bewitched was coming. Wow.
Out. I know.
Darren and what was her name? Geez. I forget her name.
Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah, what was her name on the show?
Oh, Samantha.
Samantha and Darren, right? Wasn't his name Darren? Yeah.
And Tabitha on the show, Erin Murphy. I mean, she'll pop up numerous times on my Twitter X feed, and she's like in her 60s, and it's just amazing. I mean, of course, I'm over 50, so but like you said, yeah, everyone's like grown up, and you remember when they were so little and they were kids, and now it's just like unbelievable.
That was one of my shows growing up in the mid '80s.
Oh, I loved it too. So Dick Sargent or Dick York? Didn't matter.
No, I don't know.
As long as Elizabeth Montgomery was on, all was good.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't even notice it back then.
And
as a 7-year-old kid, I just like to see when she granted the wish.
and the mother came on.
Yeah.
And Dora, she was not the.
It's been so long since I've seen it. Wow.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Used to be that. It was my night after school consisted of Different Strokes, Three's Company, Facts of Life. What was the other one with the Schroeders? Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons.
Yeah.
And
they were the shows that were on.
Mm-hmm. I would say the best of those.
Jeffersons. Good Times, Taxi.
Oh my goodness.
This could have been a top 10 list.
Yeah, All in the Family.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were a fan of All in the Family.
Yeah, they're all made by the same guy.
Yeah. Sherwood Schwartz.
Something like that. Sherwood Schwartz was the Brady Bunch.
This is
Cooper or Carol. What the hell was his name?
Oh my goodness.
He just turned like 100.
I can picture him. Why am I blind? Norman Lear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's still alive.
Might be.
Might not be, but he might be.
Did you ever watch then when Carol O'Connor did In the Heat of the Night when he was Sergeant Gillespie in that show?
No, but that was actually a show somebody I worked with was watching. He's like, you got to watch In the Heat of the Night.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. I think I've watched through it twice.
That is your kind of show with the cops, right? The cop show, right?
Yeah. Down.
It was a movie as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it came about from a movie. Yes, and The Heat of the Night was a movie. I think Sidney Poitier was the star in the movie. So it's a white police chief, and then the local, and then the police. I think he's lieutenant sergeant or whatever is black. So they play off a little bit of the racial stuff going on.
Right, like the Richard Pryor and Gene what's his name? Willy Wonka.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Who told me to watch The Toy?
Oh my goodness, that's a classic from the early '80s.
Yeah. At work I was watching it. The Toy. Richard Pryor and the little kid. He worked at the house, and then Jackie Gleason. Yeah, I watched like 10 minutes. That was pretty funny.
And yeah, they go into the toy store, and Jackie Gleason tells him, "You can have anything you want, son." And he says, "I want the black man."
Yeah, Richard Pryor.
It's like I don't know if that. I mean, a lot of that stuff would be cancel culture today. The way.
Look, we've gone 10 minutes over, and everybody stayed with us. I think they like. This is what we do after we get off the air. In case any of our normal listeners are watching tonight. This is what we always do. We hang out and we talk. Since we have no reason to get off for another show, we can do this now. So, plus we have no staff, so we have no idea how to end the stream.
I guess we just hit end stream, and that's.
Yeah, I guess that's how we do it. But if you might just see the IE Sports for hours and hours. We just leave it on. You'll see us walking by time to time.
Pets jumping up to the screen.
That's our first ever Wednesday night. Next week we'll be back to our regular Tuesday night slot. Last night was a little extraordinary circumstances. So
and hopefully things are looking up. Hopefully the Sixers will get themselves a win or two. I don't expect the Flyers to do anything.
And the Eagles should be 7-2, which we would have never expected.
Yeah, I mean it's this week. This going into this Dallas game just doesn't have the same that it used to. Like I said, when even going back a few years, or as always, but growing up, that was the rivalry. I mean, we always wanted to beat Dallas. And
Instead, it's almost like they can only disappoint. Like the only thing that they have to win. I mean, it normally would have been if they lost this game, they expected it, but now it has to be a win or else they suck.
I remember when the first season that the Eagles hired Andy Reid, and one day I think I talked to Jody McDonald on WIP. You remember the name?
Jody Mack. Yeah.
Yes. And I think the question that he had was, this is coming up. This is going to be Andy Reid's first season coaching the Eagles. What does he need to do to bring something positive in your mind about him as a coach? And I called up and said he's got to beat Dallas once. That's it. Just beat Dallas, and he did. He managed to do it. And I said, just beat Dallas once, and then the first year, because nothing was expected of the Eagles. And
What do you go? Did he go like 3-13 or something like that his first year?
I believe so. Yeah, I think they may have been 0-4 going into that Dallas game when they beat them at home, and Dallas may have been 4-0. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that does sound familiar.
I think my sister was at that game in Philadelphia. She's a Cowboys fan, and I think she was sitting with, if I remember correctly, with a nice Philadelphia Eagles fan, and he said, "Hey, this is our Super Bowl. You guys got a chance for the real one, but this is our Super Bowl."
Yeah.
Do you remember the Monday night game where the Eagles played Dallas and they were like 0-5, and they were just I remember some horrible games against Dallas for a while, and then I remember
the Halloween game where it was raining.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too. That's about 13, 14 years old now. That game.
Emmitt Smith. No, it's probably longer than that.
Longer than that. Well, then they played him again on either Halloween or
excuse me. Yeah.
Or on the third. Oh, that was Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith. It was Halloween, and he must have ran for like 200 yards at the vet. This is probably 1990,
and
something like that.
And the one where they stopped him, 4th and 1?
Oh, they got him again.
Yeah, they gave him the play over again because the 2-minute warning had hit.
5 tries. Yeah,
and I was sitting there like, no way, they're cheating the Eagles. And
4th and 1. Yeah, Merle Reese was the call. They stopped him again.
Yep. And then that was the one where John Madden was then doing the national call. And he's like, they ran the same play. Like, how could you go out there? And what was the one the start the season? The pickle juice.
Yeah, that was the Deuce Staley era. He had a big game down in Dallas.
Do you remember those? Do you remember those T-shirts? My favorite team is the Eagles and whoever plays Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They used to have the Dallas Sucks Bart Simpson shirts.
I saw a few. I saw a few that were worse than that. I saw some where it had the eagle, just the logo, and then underneath it said F Dallas.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, right.
Well, we gave you 15 minutes extra. You're all welcome.
Yes.
Bonus coverage here on Philly Sports Talk.
We'll return next week, and hopefully the staff should be back from North Carolina, and hopefully everything works out well. And hey, we'll have a NASCAR champion Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll
look forward to it.
I have my fingers crossed for obvious reasons for Logano. So
that's right. Good luck. Good luck to you.
Like I said, plus 1,600 all the way back in June as a long shot. So
nice.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. I'll hit the button here.
Yep, me too.